We're going to go through a lot tonight. Raise your hand if this is your first workshop with me. Right there, some of you guys. Excellent. Good, good, good. Perfect. That's my dad that was raising his hand right there. Yeah, except for he's watched everything online. So my mom is with us today. I'm going to ask her some questions as we get started because we're talking about freedom through fitness and getting you guys equipped to what you need. We're going to go through a lot of myths and truths tonight. So we're going to eradicate a lot of stuff that you thought that you knew that is not the case. We're going to go through a lot of science tonight, but it's easy science, just to give you some hope and encouragement about what works and what doesn't work. We're going to go through a lot of stuff on nutrition, also on diet, but also on a lot of everything, just baseline health and the secrets that have helped her get there. I had somebody earlier this week go, so your mom has gone through a big life change, and she's 75 doing a lot of cool stuff. And I go, yeah. She goes, well, you should probably just shut your mouth and let your mom talk. Just shut your mouth. I'm like, okay, so I should probably just shut my mouth. For you guys that know, I have a hard time doing that, so I'm going to do the best I can. But let's just start this off a little differently. As far as today goes, there's just knowing about us, you guys that are guests that don't know us just yet, we are Herb Family Wellness. My wife, Dr. Kimberly Herb, she's the smart, pretty one, and the one that does everything. I get to partake of that beautifulness. But she is also a doctor. We have an office here and in Southlake, personally. Max Living has offices in this and 4 other countries. We have 402 offices, and we're building every year. We're the fastest moving healthcare change in the world. Like, we are changing healthcare, how it's viewed and delivered. Raise your hand if you're a patient if you think that we are changing healthcare. Yeah, and so we are, and you guys are evidence of that. We have 650,000 people a week that go through our offices that are now off of medications, who are not having to go to their medical doctors, that are out of medical treatments and these things, and they're doing amazing, and it literally is changing the tide. And now you guys are part of it. And so that's our mission, that's who we are, and we have the greatest team ever. They're also the prettiest team ever, so there's that for the team. So this is times past. This is not this morning. Raise your hand if you saw my Facebook post for this morning, my mom and I working out. So my mom and I worked out this morning at 5 a.m. at CrossFit, and she killed it. And it's hard for me to watch my mom outdo me, so that's kind of rough. But she just goes in there, and everybody loves to see her at the gym. And so I just kind of want to just start with you a little bit. So starting out, let's just start out with what was going on when you were 68 or 67, whatever it was, when you were having all the arthritis and stuff that you told me about.
I don't have an exact date, but I was actually having a hard time going to sleep because I had this aching in my joints, in my hands, and I'm a paper folder, and I can't have that. And so I teach, and that was a big problem for me. And this all probably took place about that time where you started talking to me about, and then my basketball knee.
Yeah, so she's got arthritis. Who has
knee?
some arthritis in your hands? Just be honest. Who's got some arthritis in your hands? Yeah, so a lot of us. I got it too. I've got some right there. You see that? So, but she had arthritis in her hands so bad she couldn't fold origami. She's a master origamist. She flies all over the place teaching and things. She couldn't fold it anymore, and they had written you a prescription. Do you remember what it was for?
Yes, but it was just for pain.
It was Celebrex.
And so
it was when everybody was dying of Celebrex. Remember that? Oh. And so she calls me freaked out because there was all these people dropping dead of heart attacks from Celebrex, and she goes, David, I don't want to take this. And so do you remember that phone call?
I remember talking to you about it, and I remember I have a really good OD doctor, but he said, now, take this if you need to, but don't take it if you don't need to. That was my first clue.
So she calls me on the phone, and I gave her several things to do. The first thing I told her to do is change your diet. You got to eliminate anything that causes inflammation so that the arthritis, what is itis? Itis means inflammation, right? Itis, arthro means joint, so it means joint inflammation. So you got to get rid of anything you're putting in or exposing yourself to that causes inflammation of your joints. And the biggest part of that for most of us in this room is diet. And so what was the biggest thing I took you off of?
2011, he said, I was in New York and I was complaining a little bit, and he sent me a text, and it had a Coke in the shape of a gun. And he said,
doesn't sound like me at all.
This nothing tastes as good as being healthy feels.
Fit feels. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she said, I sent her a text that said, nothing tastes as good as fit feels. And whatever it was that resonated with, she's been saying about every day since then.
June 26, 2011, I had my last Coke.
Can I get a amen for that? So you got rid of Cokes first, and then we said there was one other big thing that you had to get rid of.
Well, I'm kind of addicted to breads.
Now stop. Raise your hand if you're addicted to bread. Come on, raise it high. I was a pastor. I will know anyway.
Still am.
So good. So yeah. So we're all. So you got rid of Cokes, you got rid of bread, and you did the advanced plan. What we talk about in here, page 49, chapter 4 in the nutrition plan book. You did that for 1 month, and what did you see in a month?
Well, really, within just a few weeks, I had almost nothing. I wasn't aware of it.
Some people will take longer. Some of you guys are like, well, I wish I could have got a couple weeks just, and I'm doing. But some people take longer. But you felt better, and so you feeling better kept you going, right? Mm-hmm. Now you started doing some more workouts. Is that right?
I started. Actually, I started when I was 59. I was walking 5Ks.
Yeah.
And in fact,
but not that often.
You did the first one with me.
I did the very first one with her.
And he was smugly winning.
Okay, I was in college, okay? Do you understand? I was in college and I was like, watch this. And I ran this whole thing. And
I yell, but I'm 30 years older.
Yes, exactly. So that was your first one. And then you got to this big change. And then you noticed the arthritis was getting a little better and doing a little bit better. And so from that point forward, just kind of walk us out what happened from there, because there was some big change in your life that happened. Raise your hand if you'd like to know how in the world you could get this because of the consistency and the discipline and all that. Anybody want to know what was it that made her draw the line? Anybody want to know that? Yeah. So what kind of was it that kind of made you go, okay, that's it?
Well, my first success with you was after probably a month and a half. I called you. And I said, you didn't tell me I was going to lose weight. I didn't think about that.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you. But she actually goes, David, she goes, I'm worried. She goes, I've lost a lot of weight. And I'm not, is this okay if I lose this much weight this fast? Because she'd lost like, I don't know, 8 pounds or something like this in like no time at all. And I go, yes, that's just fine. That's going to be fine, because a lot of some of you guys are the same way. A lot of it's inflammatory weight. It's water weight, and it's inflammatory. So you called me up. You lost a little weight.
Right. You told me to keep going,
yep.
And I started doing 10Ks. I thought, okay, if I can do a 5K, I can do a 10K, and I did. And then I thought, oh, there's half marathons. That's 13.1 miles. I bet I could do that. So I ran my first marathon, and everybody said, and by the way, being my age, I always win in my age group.
Okay. So she gets back from her first 5K, and then her first 10K, and then her first half marathon. She goes, David, she goes, do you know you get medals? I got a first place medal, and I got a free T-shirt. Of course, I wanted to say, well, did you pay to get into the race? It cost a T-shirt. But so because she got first place every time, she goes, I kind of like this. And so she kept going. Now, let me ask you this. So how many 5K runs have you done at this point?
What is it, Jim?
She has about 200 medals on her bedpost. I have about 13.
So she puts all the medals in the same place on her bedpost, and my dad says about 200. And so when your bed falls down, it may be time to put them up. So about that many. So now you were pretty consistent with your exercise.
Yes, because I had begun going to the gym some time ago, and it's a little stretch because unfortunately I live a long way from the gym.
She lives at Lake Tenkiller Dam near it in Oklahoma, which is backwoods, like backwoods. And
Off-key even.
Off-key, so it's like way, like to get to the grocery store, you have to make sure you have gas. And so how many miles is it to the gym?
Well, if I go from my mother's, who I see every morning, I do about 44, 45 miles to get to the gym.
One way.
After I have breakfast.
So wait a second. So she drives 90 miles just to get a workout in. Did you hear that? I never want to hear excuses ever again. So 90 miles to drive just to get to the gym. Now, how many times a week do you do that?
At least 3, unless I'm not working, and then I go as many days a week as I can that doesn't irritate anybody.
Yes. She also drives a Prius and gets like 60 to 100 miles a gallon. So there's that. But so now you don't just work out.
No,
So-
I do work out, but I've continued my runs.
Okay.
And the hardest one that I actually did was called the duathlon.
And that's on Saturdays, right?
Yes.
Saturday or Sundays.
Saturday
But you
and
also
Sunday.
do runs. Now, she's found a place that she's safe. First of all, if you're going to go outside and do stuff outside and run stuff, find a safe place. But she found a safe place. Where's your favorite place to go when you're not on a run?
I go to the state park if I'm alone because I've gotten to know all the rangers now, and they drive
park
by and
rangers.
wave at me, letting me know. They told me, when you're here, we're going to spot you. And so it's really
So it's good
nice
stuff.
because there's not very many people my age that get out and
So
run.
let's talk about dietary-wise. Now, here's the thing. There's a problem in the room right now. You just heard a lady who's 75, reversed her arthritis. You're back to, how much weight have you lost since you started?
Probably I was 149, 151, and now I fluctuate between 127 and 130.
That's awesome. I'll take a round of applause for that. So it's good. So you see someone reverse their arthritis, somebody lose weight, they're feeling better, they're doing great stuff. But you look at somebody who's now eating right 90% of the time, something like
Probably.
this, driving 90 miles to get a workout in, who takes care of her mother in a nursing home twice a day, which is a 25-minute drive one way to go see her and take things. She's doing all these things. Here's the problem.
And
okay?
working.
And she still works, by the way, as a counselor at a local high school. Here's the thing. You guys see that, and what you're instantly doing is that is so outrageously bigger and more than what I'm achieving right now, that it puts her in a box that says, man, that's really cool that she can do that. And instantly, what are you thinking? But that's not really, I could never be that disciplined, I could never do that. You guys see that? Now, whether you want to tell me that or not, that's what happens internally to you. So what I want to make sure that we get across before we're done today is that you guys see, and I'm not trying to expose her, but what I want you to see is, she is no different than anybody in this room. Would you? And again, it's her big message she wants everybody to know, because if she can do it,
It's anybody can.
so just kind of talk to us about that. So just what makes you not perfect?
Well, I have a basketball knee from high school. And in fact,
Raise your hand if
probably-
you have a joint that is that one joint that still gives you issue. Come on. You're not hurting my feelings as your chiropractor. Okay? So yeah, so a lot of you guys.
So I humor that a little bit by doing a stationary bike and just trying to make sure that I don't overdo it with sugar or anything that inflames. And I do really well. I have to say I wear the suppression on this knee if I do the long runs. I wear suppression hose when I do anything more compression. See, I'm so non-medical. So from the anything that's more than a 5K, if I do a 10K or half marathon or the marathon that I did in November, I protect everything because after all, I'm 75, so you just want to be sure you don't have any accidents.
As far as diet goes, tell us about like if you cheat, what does that look like?
Oh gosh, chocolate. But it is dark chocolate. If I cheat, it's a croissant or, the light that goes on at the donut place.
Fresh, hot, now? Is that what you mean, Mom?
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, so watch this now. Now, when you cheat, what do you see? Like if you have like a croissant, because she called me the other day and she said, David, I cheated.
I said, could you make the croissant in the shape of a gun?
Could you give me a picture of a croissant? So, but watch this. When you cheat, what do you feel? So instantly, watch this. This is so important. Some of you guys have never gotten good enough to actually have the experience of being able to tell a difference. But she's gotten good enough to now, when she does cheat, what happens? Where do you feel it?
I start right here.
Instantly, she feels it in the place where she has
to
the
process
tendency and the patterns for arthritis. Here and then one other place, big time?
knee.
In that one knee. Got it? But then as she cleans up, and then guess what happens again? It goes away.
Lots of water.
Good. Now, so let's talk about that. So, what'd you say today? You said somehow important hydration is, and you said there's something you do constantly to make sure that you drink that.
I do a lot of reading since I am non-medical.
Yeah.
And what I read, and I believe, is that half your weight in ounces of water. So I carry water bottles in my car all the time.
Okay.
And I keep one by my bedside because I have, sometimes my eyes are dry.
Everywhere she goes, she's got a bottle of water. That's the point. And it's not plastic bottles. So it's like glass or some kind of steel or whatever else, so she's not getting the toxins from that. Now, also, anybody else have trouble, like if you ever get really hungry and you don't have food, you're in trouble, yes or no?
Oh.
Right? So how do you combat that?
May I?
Yes, what do you got? She brought
my
like
bag?
demonstrations, awesome.
Oh, it's in there in the room in my backpack.
Oh, it is? Do you mind having
Yes.
that backpack?
Since I'm on the road so much, I carry a backpack everywhere. And I got to noticing that it wasn't a croissant craving, it wasn't a chocolate craving. As soon as I finished my 100 burpees or my push-ups and what have you at the gym, I still have that long drive. And I was noticing about 15 to 20 minutes after I leave the gym, when I've visited with everybody and, get away and head back, lo and behold, I have this unbelievable craving for food, even though I had my egg for breakfast and a banana or a piece of fruit. And so I'm just frantic. And I have this little container about this tall, maybe that tall. But I fill it with, I don't know if you've seen at Costco, they have the organic mangoes dried with
No, that's
nothing,
floor plan. It's not
nothing
advanced
in
plan.
them. Nothing in them.
Yeah.
And then walnuts and black walnuts and
Good.
raisins for Jim mostly, but it's for kids. But it's so handy because you can actually do it when you're driving. You can just pop it off. And I always just chop those up so I can get one piece at a time.
So there's a secret for you. What does she have with her all the time? She carries what? Healthy snacks.
Something that'll keep me from flipping through a drive-through or eating something that I shouldn't eat.
And it's something that keeps, like dried fruit or nuts or
Nuts.
seeds, because
Already been in them today.
Texas, guess what? It's not going to keep unless it's something like that. Got it? So that's another secret. Let's talk about your sleep. So
I'm doing better.
you're doing better. Yes, you are. So
Probably the worst thing that I had, or worst time I had changing behavior was getting enough sleep, because I've always got all these ideas of things I'd like to do, especially when you work with kids and then you do things that are creative. When things pop in your head, it's usually you relax and then it comes up. And so
how many hours a day are you getting?
right now, I noticed that I'm averaging 7 hours and 29 minutes. I just checked my Apple Watch. And the way I did it, thanks to Dr. Kimberly, she had told me this breathing exercise, and she's probably shared it with you all.
And she's watching right now.
Thank you. And I can lie down with really just popping things through my head and realize that I need to relax. And so I start breathing out and in, but I count to 20, or as close to 20 as I can for each of those breaths. You know, if you count, it's hard to concentrate on anything else. And so I just go to sleep. Plus working out every day, that just adds to it.
So let's talk about that. How many days a week do you work out?
The minimum is 2 when I'm working, because I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so I do Monday, Friday, and that's organized workouts.
Okay, at the gym.
Then when I can't go, the state park is beautiful, so I go down and I put my app on, and I do a 5K. And doing it by yourself is kind of boring, even as beautiful as it is. So I have an Audible app. Now, I don't know if you all have been to see Hamilton, but I've listened to that book once and a half again. It's a wonderful book, and I don't even put plugs in my ears because there's nobody around. and I listen to that history through that walk.
So you enjoy it, but you do have friends that you go with. In fact, she
Yes.
actually said she was in the gym the other day and she didn't have anybody to train for the next marathon with. So she walked up to two women who were 15, 20 years younger.
That was for the first marathon.
The first one. So she walks up, they're on a treadmill. She goes, "Hey, would you guys like to do a marathon with me?" Just doesn't even know them. And they're like, "Oh, let us think about it." And one of them actually did. And so she
Well,
makes friends this way.
Both of them trained until we got to the 16-mile training week. And then she has a health issue, the same as Dee does. But anyway, she couldn't finish, but we did the marathon. You witnessed that, Jim. Then, the one who did drop out, we practically carried her through and did a half with her.
That's awesome.
A couple of months
I remember
later.
those pictures, yeah.
So,
So let me ask you a couple questions I know that you guys have. Like, so what do you do when you're really tired and you really don't feel like working out? Like, talk to us about that, and then talk to us about mindset a little bit.
well, the first thing I have
So
to do...
you wake up today, you don't want to work out. Anybody else ever feel like that? I do not want to work out. So what do you do?
Well, the first thing you do, or first thing I do, is go straight to the stationary bike before I can talk myself out of it. And that's before I make coffee, before I do anything. Because if I get really dry, there's a water bottle there, but if I get really dry, then I can stop and make coffee because I know that's waiting for me to finish. And I do that in 30-minute spurts.
Okay.
And then I have a treadmill. I saved all my origami storytelling money one summer and we bought a treadmill. And so it's there. And it's my least favorite because in order for my Apple Watch to keep track of my steps, I've got to swing my arms. And it's really yucky missing all the stuff. But
Now, what if something hurts?
if something hurts, I usually go ahead and just put that suppression sleeve on because
Okay.
that's the only problem I have.
Do you lessen it? Do you change it? Do you do like? So
I don't do the hills as much, going down hills.
Okay.
I can change my route in a lot of ways so that going downhill is very hard on knees, so that's the only thing I avoid.
So let me give you an idea. So we were at the CrossFit gym this morning. We did a bunch of movements that she doesn't generally do. And she got in the car and she goes, well, I can kind of feel my basketball knee. She always calls it the basketball knee. I can kind of feel my basketball knee. And the first thing out of her mouth after that, I need to do more bike because when I move my knee more without the pounding, it always gets better. I bet you I can come back and do that and not have any pain at all. So some of us go, well, I need to lay off for a while. I need to not do much for a while. And the first thing that this lady said was, I need to move it more so that it heals more. Do you see the difference in that? Most people think, well, I shouldn't do anything. No, that's not what she said. She goes, I need to go home and do more and move my knee more so that my knee heals because that's how arthritis resolves itself is through movement. She didn't say pounding, she said movement. Did you guys get that? That's really, really big. Now, talking about mindset a little bit, I want to know about mindset. I want to know about what it does for your mind when you're working out. And by time-wise, we need to get started with the talk portion of this. I know you don't want to hear me, but we need to get to that point. But just tell me about, number one, just mindset. What keeps you going? Why it is you haven't fallen back off track? Why it is you keep doing this week in, month out, year in, year out? Like, I know we talked about seeing your mom, grandma. I know you saw somebody at
I have
the
a whole
nursing home.
list that I could share with
So
you.
just briefly give us a couple of big ones.
I go to my mother's at the nursing center to have breakfast with her, and I sit down and I see all these people. I keep flowers on all the tables. But the nerve-wracking thing that really broke my heart was one day Elsie McCoy was sitting at the table next to Mother. Elsie McCoy was a grade behind me in high school and played basketball with me. And she was a diabetic, and I talked to her almost every morning. And I came in one morning about a month later, and Elsie had passed away. And, you know, that's really hard to see. I felt guilt. I don't know exactly what I felt guilty. Why did I have health and she didn't? But that was really hard for me. And seeing the people that were my age and younger, some people like 58 and 59, and some people 65, 70, and for various reasons couldn't take care of themselves anymore. The other thing that I noticed that I really hope you'll take note of is that I notice when I work out 3 to 5 days a week and do my walks when I'm not going to the gym, my thinking is clearer. I don't have any trouble sleeping. I don't have a sleeping problem.
And your mood.
And my emotional state, if you could have seen me for a year or more, I left my mother's side, and before I could get out of the parking lot, I was crying all the way home because of thinking, why can't I take care of her? And that it felt so wrong that she be there and not at home. And then I got to noticing, after 5 or 6 weeks, I thought of all these things I could do to make it feel more like home. And I quit crying. All of a sudden I noticed one day I wasn't crying. I was going as hard as I ever had, but I didn't have all of that complete emotional breakdown. And so I really attribute that.
And she said when you miss a bunch of workouts, you feel that emotional weight come back.
I was in New York for a week and a half, and I was presenting at a conference there, and when I was there, I was at St. John's University, and you could not really, with responsibilities, you couldn't get those workouts in. There was just no way. By the time I got home, it was 2 weeks, and I hadn't had a serious workout. I could already see and feel the difference of not having that, because I think as we age, it happens more quickly. All of a sudden you see in yourself that you start dropping back and your thought processes aren't quite as sharp. So it has so many blessings for doing what we're doing.
Yeah. So emotions, cognition, clarity, immunity. How often are you sick?
Almost never.
She just.
He's not allowed to get sick.
my dad said she's not allowed to get sick. Very true, actually. It was like that when I was a kid, and it just keeps going. But there's a lot of benefits. Can you guys see that? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to break. We're going to go through what I think I really need you guys to get, and I'm going to go as fast as I can. We'll leave some time at the end so you guys can ask your questions, and we'll go from there. Sound good? So, round of applause for my mama. Good. Awesome. I'm going to put you right here. Just hit that button again. Turn that red. There you go. Good. Excellent. Okay. Now, put your seatbelts on. We got to go. You ready? So, here we go. So, going through this, okay, our mission here is that, period. That is our mission. We want to empower longer, healthier lives through chiropractic care and an integration of the 5 essentials. And guests that are going to know that here in just a second. But my mama also tell you that was very instrumental is that she goes to the chiropractor, she gets an adjustment as much as she possibly can. Does that make sense? There's a difference, and the difference is you cannot get yourself fit to healthy. There's people that die with 6-pack abs every day, yes or no? And fit is not healthy. Fit is part of being healthy, but it's not healthy. Now, here's the 5 essentials: core chiropractic, nutrition, mindset, oxygen, and exercise. We're really focusing on this one today, which is why you'll see that symbol, and then minimizing toxins. But it's gotten bad. I don't have to read through these stats. Would you agree that it's gotten bad? Like, nobody's getting the exercise. We're in a very sedentary lifestyle. I mean, you just read the stats. I mean, 15 to 19-year-olds, 60% of them having plaque built up. I mean, less than 3 in 10 high school students get consistent physical activity. When did that ever start? Like, when I was in high school, you didn't have a choice. It wasn't like, would you like to go outside and work out right now? No, it's like, it's raining. I don't care. Get outside. That's just what we did. Obesity is just skyrocketed. And the problem with it is there's a lot of exercise programs out there, yes or no? There's a lot of stuff you can buy, right? Kaylee, you and I were talking about having a Bowflex or whatever. How many people bought some kind of form of exercise treadmill or workout thing, and there's clothes hanging on it right now? Anybody else? Right, so yeah, so I had a Bowflex. We did that. I hung stuff up to dry on it. But the problem with this, most of this stuff is too complex. It's complicated, it's convoluted, It's just too much. A lot of stuff is too physically aggressive. Like you're doing plyometric stuff where you're jumping and bouncing and jumping and bouncing. Anybody bought one of those programs before? And you're like, oh, I could probably do this. No, I can't do this as things hurt. And so we don't want to do that. That's why we put together Max T3, which you can do right on your phone. It's easy and there's 3 levels and anybody can do it. I've had people with hip replacements and in wheelchairs do these things. Got it? So there's no excuses. But why is it that the lack of exercise builds disease? And it's very simple. Physical inactivity leads to metabolic dysfunction, and metabolic dysfunction over time leads to metabolic disorders, which is what? Disease. We can talk about every disease under the sun, from diabetes to cancer to thyroid issues to weight loss resistance to premature aging. Got it? That's why you have to have it. It's an essential. It's not like it's a good idea. It's an essential. You got to have it like you breathe. How many people look at exercise like, as important as the breath that you get? And the problem with it, a lot of you do, it's because you're one of those weirdos, right? But the problem with it is you should be a weirdo too. Okay, welcome, the water's fine. But here's the thing, myth, exercise heals the body. Now, I'm going to tell you, this has a truth to it. My mom moving her knee on that bike without pounding is going to move that joint, and it's going to help get rid of that arthritis, move inflammation out, smooth off the joint surface, stimulate growth of cartilage and joint material. It's going to stimulate that. Inactivity doesn't. But what I want you to get is fitness does not equal health, period. There are people who look great, who exercise. A friend of ours several years ago, his wife is the fitness expert at the gym, 6-pack abs, doesn't feel well. They go in and do a couple tests. They all freak out. They open her up for exploratory surgery. There was cancer in every part of her entire body. They closed her up. She died 6 days later. And she felt amazing until the day before that. And she looked amazing. And she ate organic. She never had any meds. She didn't take anything. She did everything right. And it wasn't genetics either, guys. It was the fact that fitness does not equal health. Fitness is part of health. Everybody with me? Got it? Okay. That's why we talk about core chiropractic. What's the one system that controls every part of the entire body? Nervous system. If you don't have a body that can adapt to the physical exercise, then when you physically exercise, your body doesn't get stronger. It gets what? Weaker. It doesn't build up. It does what? It breaks down. And so you'll see people that go, yeah, no, I can't work out. Things are breaking down. I can't do that anymore. It's because your body's not healing. And guess what system controls all healing? Your nerve supply. Some of my guests, tonight's your night to schedule your time to get this checked so we can get you where you need to be. Because healing always comes from above down. Okay, it comes from above down. Everybody say above, down. Now, it might be a biblical principle, but it's also the way this thing is set up. It's taught in every medical school. This controls everything. Yes or no? Right? So from above down. Now, it comes from here down that spinal cord, out those nerves roots, and there has to be no interference. So you have to have a good curve in your neck, not a head forward posture, not like this, not a high shoulder, no scoliosis, no shift hips like this, no here or J-Lo like this, none of this. So like this, it has to be what it should be. Now, here's the other thing. Your spine is essential for exercise. You have had people who go out and run and they didn't injure their knee, but all of a sudden, slowly but surely, their knee gives out. They have a bad knee, right? Anybody actually just kind of woke up one day and the knee just started hurting, it's never stopped hurting kind of thing? Most of the time, it's because the spine's out of alignment. It's creating an obliquity, which is creating a little bit of tension across the knee every step, and it was only a matter of time. But because they went to a medical doctor instead of somebody who corrects the spine, and I didn't just say chiropractor because this is not just chiropractic. We're not just cracking on people's spine. We're correcting things. And literally, you open that back up again so the knee doesn't have the shear on it anymore. It does this, and the knee heals. And it's a miracle. Is it a miracle? No, it's just the way that you're designed. You can call it a miracle, but give him the praise. But here's the other thing. Roger Sperry in 1986 won a Nobel Prize that said the brain is like a battery. It holds electrical charge. And the thing that charges it the most, 95% of the charge, comes from the spine. And he said if the spine is posturally distorted, it will not charge the battery of the brain. You can't get as much electricity to it, which in turn runs the body and keeps things working. Which means if your spine is out of alignment or your spine is degenerating, guess what happens to your movement? It's not as effective. You guys with that? which means you have to exercise even more to get this thing going, which is why it's so key. This is a key thing. Now, myth, it doesn't matter how hard I work because I got bad genes. Okay? I hear that all the time. Let me be very clear. I did 7 years of study in genetics, and we spent $3.2 billion under the Clinton administration. And I can tell you the Human Genome Project failed because only 2%, less than 2% of your genetics has anything to do with your health that you have right now. Guess who's responsible for the health that you have right now? Every decision you made up to this point. And so that's actually bad news and good news. It's actually spectacular news. Because guess what that means? You can do something about it. Got it? Now watch. Truth is, genetics load the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger. It's just as simple as that. Okay? Now, as I kind of fly through these a little bit, your lifestyle, is your lifestyle holding you back? What I love is, I was talking to my mom about it, another quote, you can't outrun your fork. Just as clear as a bell. Also, I also heard you can't exercise off bad nutrition or bad dietary. Like in the youth, we see like a lot of kids eating like Whataburgers and crazy stuff like this and French fries, and it looks like they get away with it because they still got six-pack abs because they're like 17 years old, right? Guess what? It's not the case. You actually, just because it looks like it's not doing something, doesn't mean it's not doing something. It literally is creating disease, genetic changes. It's setting them up for arthritis. It's setting them up for cancers later on in life. All these different things. It's hard to get through to a 16, 17, 18, or 19-year-old, is it not, though? Right? But it doesn't mean you don't keep saying it, right? Raise your hand if you're a parent. Jesus' name, we pray for all the parents and myself and for patience. It's not about perfection, but direction. So we want to have grace. Do you value your health? Now watch this. You tell me that you don't have enough time to exercise, but you watch 2 hours of TV in the evening time. You tell me you really want to eat right, but if I look at your bank statement, there's fast food across the board on it. Everything from pizza 3 times a week to Chinese order in or whatever else. Like if you tell me you really want these things, do you really value it? Do you really want it? Because if I went and you actually gave me records from your bank, would I see that stuff? I'm not just trying to, listen, we don't do it perfect either. We had Chinese takeout last night because it was the easiest thing. I'm just trying to be transparent. But the point is, guess what? It's not our lifestyle, and it shouldn't be yours either. Got it? So you tell me you value it. What do you really value? Do your actions meet it up? Now, exercise is essential for genetic requirements. Point is, you have to have movement to create the genetic expression that you want. Did you get that? So if I want my genetics to continue to propagate towards better insulin sensitivity and leanness, guess what I have to do? Move. And I don't just move so I get oxygen. I don't just move so I charge the brain. I move so that I program my genetic structure, my genetic code, so it creates the cells that I want. Have you ever thought about it like that? That is a whole different way to think about it. You got that? Myth, calories are all the same. Calories are calories. Now listen, wait a second, before you shake your head, it's written as if it's false, obviously. But who here has been taught that, at least in high school or somewhere? Like we were taught that just a calorie is a calorie is a calorie. It is absolutely 100% false. And a great example of that is just this one. So you take a Twinkie that's 150 calories and 22 almonds, is almost exactly the same. Do you think they do the same thing when you eat them? No. I dare you to eat a Twinkie and see what your joints feel like tomorrow morning when you get out of bed. And you sound like and you crackle as you get out of bed because all the inflammation. Some of you guys crackle right now. You can't sneak up on anybody. You couldn't be a ninja if you wanted to. But this is my point. So calories are not calories. Now nutrition, though, is also, if you guys were at the workshop, always come to workshops. Please program yourself to be going to these workshops. We did a workshop on Let Food Be Thy Medicine and how food actually programs genetics as well. You literally program genetics through your food and the expression that your body has through that. In fact, actually geneticists and scientists now know, if you look at the gene code, it says that there is no way possible for your cells to have the function that they're supposed to function if you actually don't get certain live nutrition. Which means the hardcore can't get people to eat this or that, or you guys just, don't want to take the time, that kind of thing, guess what? It means that we just got to get better. And listen, it's not about perfection. You guys hear that? I had a meeting the other day with a lady. She did not know how to boil water. Now, I know it sounds weird. It's just that she's never done that before. So we went through how you steam vegetables, and all she did was put a steamed vegetable on what they were already doing once a day. And she was like, I think I can do this. And guess what? That's where we started, and it's gotten better, and it's gotten better. Is she doing everything perfect? No. Am I doing everything perfect? Are you doing anything perfect? But it's not about perfection. It's about what? Progress. It's about direction. Okay, so nutrition. We just start somewhere. Okay? Don't sabotage your hard work. Now, Mom, when she's out of that workout, and she is low glycemic index because she just blew everything out doing 100 burpees, which is pretty great, by the way. My mom did 100 burpees. A little rest between. Yeah. Okay, it sounds better if you don't say that. It's 100 burpees. Yeah, I got a lot of rest in between when I do 100 burpees. But anyway, but she said if she didn't have a snack, she wants to stop and get something. And that's the same thing for you. You can sabotage your hard work because if you eat bad or poor or whatever after that workout, guess what you're bringing in instantly? And you're programming harder when your body is really thirsting for food and nutrition than any other time. Does that make sense? So you really want to make great decisions after your workouts, okay? Eat healthy fat to burn fat. I know some of you guys, one of our people that is a partner with us in the community was teaching people low-fat diets. I'm like, no. You know what we teach. You do not eat low fat. It's a absolute hogwash. You do not eat low fat. Everybody look at me. Say no fat. No fat. That is absolute hogwash. You want real fat. Everybody say real fat. Real fat. What is non-real fat? That's like canola oil and stuff like this. You might as well just drink motor oil for your car. It's like poison. It's also a carcinogen. Did you see my post this week? It's a carcinogen. Canola oil is a carcinogen. Get rid of it. But to burn fat, you got to eat healthy fat. So some of you guys don't realize this. If you want to lose weight, you actually start exercising and eating more fat, and guess what? You start burning more fat. You start losing weight. I love what you did today. She came in, she goes, nope, I'm trying to get my 65%. How long have you been a patient?
10 plus years.
10 plus years? Yes, because she comes to workshops. Now, change animal products first. If you guys are looking for what are the easiest steps, what do I need to do first? You want to start changing your animal products first because they have the greatest bioaccumulation. It takes 18 pounds of chemically sprayed grain to make 1 pound of beef. Did you get that? And so you get a lot more glyphosate and those things in your meats. Also, if you guys saw my post this week about chicken, that they feed them all. Did you see that? All kind of crazy stuff that you don't want. Antidepressants, heart meds, all these different things. They feed chickens antidepressants, and they also feed them cocaine-like substances because if they stay awake, they'll eat more and they'll eat longer and they get fatter quicker. And so, again, you want to have organic products. Now, do I always eat organic meat? No, but I do that as much as I can. Got it? So it's just, you change this first. Now, I'm not going to go through this, it's in your book, but healthy fats versus bad fats. And some of these bad fats, I literally have people look at this and go, oh, what? Vegetable oil. Guys, if it says vegetable oil, it doesn't mean that it's a vegetable. Vegetable oil, most of the time, is a rancid, completely oxidized oil which will cause your body to be congested. It will break it down. It will cause cancers. It will cause autoimmunity. It will cause all kinds of things, leaky gut. And so we want to get away from these type of oils and fats. Now, it's almost in everything, but you can get a lot of great stuff in almost anything over here. Got it? And this is not just right here. If you're taking pictures, great, but it's in your nutrition book. This exact slide is in your nutrition book, okay? So make sure you look for it. But we're eating toxins. There's a great movie out right now called, what is it, Genetically Modified Children. That's what it's called. But it's actually from the workers in third world countries that grow stuff for Monsanto, and they spray all day long, and their genetics are so ruined that all of their children have leukemias and tumors and blindness and stillborn deaths and infertilities and all these things because of the genetic things. Now, if it's happening because that person's getting around it, and now you're eating that stuff and it's bioaccumulating in you, do you think there might be an outcome? So can you see how it would be important to stay further and further away from stuff that's been sprayed like this? It's very, very important. Now, let's just talk about some ingredients list. Raise your hand if you've been to a Shop with a Doc before, so you went to the grocery store with us. Guests, if you've not been, make sure you sign up for that. It's coming. I don't think there's a sign-up sheet tonight, but about once a month we go to the grocery store and teach how to read labels. It is so fun. Raise your hand if you had fun with us at the grocery store. Raise your hand if you had. No, I'm sorry. So, but this is a grocery list, and this is Lunchables. School's starting next month, and guess what? A lot of moms will end up getting Lunchables. We have one that's like 6 years old up front. It never goes bad. Bugs won't want it. Ants won't crawl across it. This is the Lunchables, and this is all the stuff. Do you think anything healthy comes from all these? No, right? So it's not good. Yeah, not good. So next, okay? Myth: I need to be in the fat burning zone, right, to burn fat. To as long as I can to lose weight. Okay, so who here has thought, well, I need to get on the treadmill for 30 minutes to an hour to really lose some weight? I was taught that in school as well. That is not true. Now, I like some long distance stuff. My mom likes long distance stuff. I'm not saying don't ever do that, and it's not good. There is great benefits to those things. The problem with it is, if you really want to turn hormones around, the greatest thing is short time, and it's high output. If a little is good, then a lot must be better. You think that's true? It's not true. You start getting into overuse injuries. I have some people that are weekend warriors. Actually, I was supposed to write an article for Shape Magazine just last week about weekend warriors and how we all feel like we're 18 years old here, but then like we only work out like 10-20% of our lifespan right now, and we go on the weekend, we think we can do anything, right? Come on, Jenkins, help me out, right? And so, but what is the best way? It's not important what you burn during your exercise, it's what you burn after your exercise. So watch this. Here's the issue, okay? If you are working out for a long period of time, everybody, this is very important that you get this. If you work out for an hour at a level that's, a good, just like a good jog for an hour, okay, you're in your fat burning zone. What ends up happening is you burn fat. It's true, you do burn fat. But if you're burning fat during, guess what you burn after? More percentage of you burn sugar. So if you're burning sugar, guess what you're craving? Sugar. Exactly. What you burn after workout is more important than what you burn during the workout. Now, how do I burn fat after? I want to burn sugar during. Does it make sense? So how do I burn sugar during my workout? What that means is you have to exhaust all your glucose, blood glucose, while you're working out. Guess how you do that? As you're working out, it looks like this. Which is what I look like trying to keep up with my mom this morning at 5 a.m. But do you see that? That's burning through your glucose right now. So if I burn all my sugar now, guess what I burn after the workout? Fat. That looks like, so this is classic cardio. So right here, so this is your working out, this is your intensity level. So I'm breathing okay, I'm breathing kind of hard, but I'm not out of breath where I can't talk. And then I finish my 1 hour workout, and this is your excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. Basically what it means is you were actually going harder than what you could get enough breath for, right? Who here's worked out so hard that 30 minutes later you still feel like you were trying to catch your breath, right? Not enough of you raised your hand. But if you look, watch this. What if I just did 12 minutes, but I did 12 minutes that were so high, I look like a fish out of a fish tank going like this. Now what that does is it creates an oxygen demand that now, watch this, you just stop working out and you actually create a higher oxygen demand for up to 36 hours. Who would like to burn fat for 36 hours after your workout? Thank you, Jesus, that you just gave us that, okay? So, how do you do that? High intensity, short duration. Now, I think there's a place for both of them, but we want to make sure that you guys are getting that. What's the easiest thing to do? Not complicated. You don't have to buy, what's the guy's name that does the, what is it? Yeah, anyway, I don't want to make it fun of anybody. No, I'm not going to say it. No, I'm not going to say it. But Max T3 is what we want you guys to do. And you can download Max T3. You can do it right from your phone. Okay? You can do it right from your tablet, right from your laptop. Now, this right here, this is the bundle I want you to get. So you're going to get one of the proteins, right? Because I want you to have a good protein that's digestible, that's going to help you build lean muscle and help repair because you have to have the right amino acids. Got it? So this is going to help you through the challenge because we have a challenge for you to start the 30 days. The optimal omega is what? Omegas are what? Say it. It's fat. Guess what lubricates those joints? Fats. Guess what makes your hormones? Fats. And you have to have the right ratio. So optimal omega is going to do this. So when you're working out through this challenge, I want to make sure you have this. I don't want you to get through this challenge and go, well, it kind of worked. I want you to have what you need so it works. Got it? Next is Max Fit. Max Fit is the #1 supplement to be taking while you're working out. It's got a bunch of things in it. One of the things it's got in it is ashwagandha. Who's heard of ashwagandha? Ashwagandha. It actually became fad about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And when it was on Dr. Oz said something about ashwagandha, and there was a worldwide shortage of ashwagandha. You couldn't get it. You remember that? Yeah, we had a hard time getting it for our product. But ashwagandha will speed up your metabolism. It will actually help you recover from exercise faster, and that's why they use it for weight loss. Also, there is decaffeinated green coffee bean extract in this, which also helps you. It's a kind of a weight loss thing, but it's going to help the metabolism. It's going to help your hormones as you go into working out. Got it? And then detox system is part of it because it wants to help you get rid of the right toxins. Got it? And there's 2 products in there. That's the bundle. Now, the 3 T's of Max T3. Did you ever wonder what Max T3 means? I thought I'd put this in there because some of you guys are like, why do they call it Max T3? Well, because there's time, type, and tempo, and you can change these based on what you're wanting to do, which means you can make your own workout, yes or no? Yes. You could do push-ups and air squats and burpees and running. And we do that. We've been doing that on Saturdays till we changed our hours. And Aletha was there killing us. It was awesome. But you never regretted coming, huh?
Yeah.
You better say yeah. Yeah, good. All right, so that's just what that is. I wanted you guys to see that. Now, high intensity exercise is best, and there's the 3 reasons. And I want you to get this. If I believed in tattoos, you could get these tattooed. But optimizing hormones, fat burning, and muscle building, this is what I want you to get. And it's going to keep you young. Got it? Okay, so that's what we want you to get. If time drops, intensity has to increase. Everybody look at me. Some of you guys, when you go to the gym or you go work out, and this is kind of poking fun, but you get in the gym and you're like on a treadmill reading your book, like this. Good to see you. How you doing? And you get through with your workout and you're like this, and you grab your water bottle, you're like, check mark, got my workout in, right? That's not a workout. You want intensity to increase. What does that mean? Get crazy. Now, I had a lady who challenged me on that. She was in a wheelchair. She goes, I can't get on a bike. I can't get on a treadmill. I really don't feel like I can do what you're telling me to do. But guess what? It's any movement. Now, watch this. Put your stuff on your lap. Put your stuff on your lap or underneath your chair. Ready? Here we go. Don't drop your stuff. Everybody go like this. Good. Do not punch the person in front of you. I am not reliable. You saw that. I'm not liable. Now watch this. We're going to punch in the air for 30 seconds. Now you're not going to go like this. This is so fun. And then stop. I want you to be like, this is Rocky. And you're going for the part. You guys ready for this? So it's like this. Like this. Ready? No, stop. Okay, good. You guys ready? Here we go. On your mark, get set, go. Okay, it's 30 seconds. Go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. You're not done. Keep going. Don't slow down. Now, you should see your faces. Keep going. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't slow down. Somebody's slowing down. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Don't punch your neighbor. Don't slow down either. You're almost done. Come on, don't give in. Come on. Come on, and stop. It's like a warm blanket. This is you out of breath, yes or no? You didn't even have to get out of your chair. Did you get that? Yeah, she almost fell out. But watch this. If you actually reached VO2 max, and the only way you know that is if you're out of breath right now. If you're out of breath, then you actually created an excess post-oxygen consumption, which means you actually are going to be burning fat after just now. You're welcome. Moving on. Now, is there something to eat back here? Yes, there are bars for sale. So what does that say? Say it with me.
Breathe hard to burn fat.
You remember that the rest of your life. Got it? If you're having trouble losing weight, first of all, get adjusted. You may be something going on with internally that you're not functioning right. Make sure your diet's dialed in. You're not toxifying yourself with your diet, but then breathe hard to burn fat. And I tell you what, it works all the time. Now, myth, sweating is gross. Listen to me. I literally have people come in here and goes, I'm so sorry, you have to adjust me and I'm so sweaty. I'm like, I love sweaty way more than couch potato clean every day. So sweating is good. Here's the other thing. The one thing that all cancer patients have in common is they don't sweat. If you don't sweat, let's get this figured out now. You better sweat, and if you can't sweat, we need to get you sweating. Got it? In fact, I've had people who could not sweat, who I would beat them to death with exercise and high intensity until finally one day they broke loose and they were like, oh. And I'm like, yes. So listen, you ought to stink, you ought to stank, and you ought to stunk. You need to have sweaty sweatness. I mean, it needs to be like sweat bombs. When you're going so hard that it's just coming off you and you're leaving a mark on the floor. Got it? Like I leave sweat angels a lot of times because I can't stand up. I'm breathing so hard. And when I get up, because it's a little while, I get up and the floor I'm on, it looks like Dr. David's sweat angel. That's what I want you to do. Sweating is good. And I can tell you why. One of the biggest reasons is because of toxicity. God gave you a pathway to get rid of heavy metals, to get rid of phthalates, to get rid of glyphosates, to get rid of all these different things. And if you are not getting it out sweat-wise, your body is amazing to adapt. It'll try to get it out of your urine, getting out of your fecal material. It'll try and get it out of breath. And lots of people have bad breath. That's a detox pathway. You'll see people who can't sweat have bad breath. You'll have all these different things that you're trying to get, ways that you're getting it out. But guess what? It's not as good as sweating. And there's another reason that God made us for hard physical labor, to keep working our whole lives, and so that we can sweat and we can actually lose detoxicity. Exercise and toxicity, it is what it is. It is magnificent. And you can just see, it's just all the chemicals that you get rid of by sweating are awesome. And listen, why you can't sweat, there's a myriad of things. I even thought about putting a lot in here, but it can be sympathetic drive. Who here has been stressed in the last week? I pastored a church. Who here has been stressed in the last week? Good. Every hand should go up. Man, it's crazy. If you're like, I haven't been stressed. You're more stressed now because you had that answer. But watch, when you're stressed, it's like a fight or flight. Okay? Now, subluxation, when your spine is out of alignment, and listen, you don't have to have any symptoms of it. If your spine's out of alignment, you'd have no symptoms, you feel great. But literally internally, it's like someone's tapping on your fight or flight sympathetic nerve supply. And so you could sit on a beach and drink a little drink with an umbrella in it, but internally it's like you're living in a bed of snakes. And you are literally like this internally. Do you think that might have something to do with it? Now, this is one of the reasons people don't sweat. Another reason people don't sweat is because they're not getting enough what? Water. Guys, it's going to be 106 Wednesday. Drink water. And listen, don't tell me you drink a lot of stuff. Like you're getting your tea, and you get your tea in the morning. I drink coffee, and I'll get a little, something, get a little something in the afternoon, a little Coke or something. No, drink water. If you wouldn't bathe your cells in it, then you shouldn't drink it. Right. Got it? Now, I have Zevias sometimes as a treat, but it's not a lifestyle. Got it? Okay? I have some green tea too. Takeaways. You have to push if you're only working out for 12 minutes. Don't sabotage your workouts by avoiding foods that are high in sugar, high fat, moderate protein, low carb snacks. Got it? This is what you want after your workouts. Also, your need to sweat. You need to fill up your shirt. Here's the thing. If you can wear your workout clothes one more time after you work out, you're not doing it right. Did I catch some of you on that one? Like you should be, if you pick that thing up to work out in it again, to put it on, you're like, oh, that's the way it should be. If it's not that way, come talk to me, okay? Also, I'm really, really concerned about this because I have people that say they should not get their heart rate up. My mom, once you start getting a little bit higher and over 40, people start going, well, I don't want to get my heart rate up, don't want to get my heart up. Listen to me. Yeah, I agree to some degree, so don't take me too wrong on this. But listen, Dean Ornish has got people who've had heart attacks who he's driving in high-intensity, short-duration exercise on treadmills, and he's watching them reverse completely heart disease instead of having stents put in or open heart surgery, 100% reversal of occlusion of arteries and things because he's driving them on treadmills and getting their heart rate way up. If Dean Ornish can do it, guess what? So can you. Got it? So just be careful of that one. Now, challenge, 30-day challenge. Everybody raise your hand. Right hand. Everybody raise your right hand. Listen, I solemnly swear. Just kidding. But you are going to do a challenge and you're going to commit to it, okay? What does that look like, okay? Now listen to me. This is the challenge. I would like to see you do exactly this, or at the very least, this. For some of you guys that are perfectionists, if you can't do it perfect, you won't even start it. So this is a great starting place, okay? Great starting place. There's a front and back, okay? There's a front and back on this. And everybody should have one. Next is this. Everybody look at this part. My mom said, you know what you should do? If you're going to give them a challenge and have them work out every day, you need to give them a calendar.
Yeah, I like that.
That's what she said. Give them a calendar. Now, that's not a Monday through Friday, and there's a reason for that. Some of you guys are going to start tonight. Some of you guys will start tomorrow. Some of you guys are going to wait till Wednesday. Some of you guys will say you're going to start Wednesday and not start till Friday. So the point is, I'll get back to you when I'm going to start. But here's the thing. What you're going to do is you're going to start that, and for 30 days straight, you are going to do. Now listen, that is also a good starting point. I would like to see everybody do exactly what's on there, but watch this. What if you got to day 4, instead of doing day 4, you went for a 30-minute walk and you just walked? Would that be bad? No? Yeah. Well, listen, what if it wasn't? What if you just walked? What if you just got outside and you went and walked and it wasn't high intensity and it wasn't short duration and it wasn't, would you still be better off than not? Yes. Again, some of you guys will miss 2 or 3 days and you'll be like, that's it. And you'll throw that away. Here's the other thing. This right here, it doesn't go in the back seat of your car. It doesn't go in your briefcase. It doesn't go under your bed. It doesn't go next to the toilet and never get looked at again. This goes on your fridge. This goes on, you take a picture of it with your phone and make it your lock screen. This goes on this maybe goes on the inside of your car, like here. No, don't do that, you'll wreck. But it goes somewhere where it's very obvious for the next 30 days. Got it? Look at me, everybody look at me. Just seriously, who do you think, who here thinks if you actually did what I'm saying right now for the next 30 days, you moved every single day, you did it high intensity when you can, and you ate as close to advanced plan like my mom, who here thinks that you could see results? Just raise a hand if you did that. Now, we all agreed that we could. Now, guess who's going to stop you from that? You have the opportunity. You can be your worst critic, or you can be your number one advocate. The problem with it is sitting in the same chair that you're in is your worst critic. So you've got to learn how to give yourself a break, people. If you talked to other people the way that you talk to yourself, you wouldn't have anybody talk to you the rest of your life. So give yourself a break. It's okay. Got it? Now, I told a lot of you guys I wanted you to have accountability partners when you came. So guess what? I want you to have an accountability partner. Guess what that means? You are going to make sure that the other person is with you on this. And some days they're not going to want to, and some days you're not going to want to. And that's okay. Some days you're both not going to want to, but you're going to do it anyway. Does that make sense? Got it? So you guys stay tied in. Everybody with me? Okay? So there's a challenge. Make sure you get this. Guys, I know it's like, well, I don't want to invest in a product. He's just selling me stuff. No, I want you to be successful. So you get this before you leave so that this next 30 days, you actually get the results I want you to get. Got it? So your body has what it needs to get past all the little knot holes you're going to squeeze through energy-wise and hormone-wise and everything else. Got it? Okay? Action steps. There's going to be some things that I want you to do. Number 1, I want you to commit to this. How do you commit to it? I want you to write your name, sign and date that right there. If you're committing to that right now, I want you to sign and date that challenge. I just bought 1,000 pins. I have enough pins for everyone. So right now, before we move on, you need a pin? I don't have one. So I really... hey, Dr. Dim, Dr. Ebor, they're getting pins. So give them a second. They're going to come back, bring some pins. I want you to sign and date it right now. Watch this. Here's the other thing. I want you to write the date down of when you're going to do your first exercise. So talk to your partner if you need to. If your partner's out here, you need to at least commit to that. Yeah.
I have a torn meniscus in my knee. How in the world am I going to do planks?
Perfect. You're not. Oh, actually, you actually probably could possibly get away with that. But here's the thing. She's got a joint that she's got issues with. Right? So first of all, come in, let me help you with that. Okay? I saw your face about the pelvic obliquity thing a little while ago. But the other thing too is, listen, everybody look. Some of you guys still have a physical issue that would keep you from some of the exercising or a lot of the exercise on this. Guess what? That's okay. If you can't do that, we're going to figure out something else. You did fine with this. You can do some version of it. You could do that. You can walk. You can get on a bike. Maybe half the stuff you do over the next month involves you sprinting on a bike.
Okay, there's several of us that don't know what a burpee is.
Do you really want to see a burpee? You don't want to know. So a burpee is where you jump down into a push-up position, do a push-up, jump back up into a squat position, and come up and clap your hands. You're not going to be able to see it, but I'm going to do one right now. So you're here. That's a burpee. That's one. And so a lot of times one of the workouts will be do 100 burpees for time. A mountain climber, listen, here's the thing. If you have something you don't know what it is, go to YouTube and say how to, and then just write that in, and it'll give you exactly what it is. But a mountain climber is when you're in plank position, and you're doing this while you're in all fours like this. Yeah, mountain climber, like that. What's that? Jump tuck is this. That's a jump tuck. That, again, that's the extra at the bottom. You don't have to do that.
So are you doing
Listen to me, watch. You can do jump rope. You can do bike. You can do whatever it is, but we want to do what? Move and get yourself out of breath. Got it? How long do you want to do it? Shoot for 12 minutes, maybe 20. Sometimes you can do it longer than that. It doesn't matter. Just try and do the best you can to move. Got it? It's a 30-day movement challenge. Action steps. Okay, if you're a guest, raise your hand again if you're guests. Guest. You're royalty here. It's my dad raising his hand as a guest. But you are a guest. But if you're a guest, listen, they have a gift for you. It's in those packets right there. They've got new patient packets. They want to make sure they give you an opportunity to get checked. Got it? And so I know it's like, I don't know, this is crazy. Listen, do me a favor. It is the greatest gift you'll ever give yourself. Raise your hand if you're a patient in the office and you think it would probably be the greatest gift you ever gave yourself. Got it? So make sure you encourage these guys to go do that. All right, so questions, Mama. So other questions from Mom? Yes.
I want to ask Mom about what are you using for a stationary bike? I have a recumbent.
That's basically, I think mine's called a recumbent. It's
You're sitting back.
I'm sitting back.
Right.
If I had it to do over, I definitely would have the one where I move my arms. But it's in my living room. I have it back in the corner, but I needed that to where it's what I see and it's what I need. And I definitely needed it for my knees in particular. But if I ever find one around that has the...
Do you see how she looked at me?
Maybe
Christmas
for
is coming.
Christmas or something.
Good. Another question right here?
Yes.
Mom, when you do the marathons, are you running the whole time?
I run and walk.
So you do
does marathons.
I've read so much on marathons and half marathons. It takes 2 to 6 weeks to recuperate. And so I probably will continue to do the halves, but I think at my age, I don't believe I want to do any more marathons.
Full,
I
26.2.
I love doing the halves.
And how many miles is that?
13.1 is a half marathon. And if you pick up, there's some running books that have, but you can get online and get a whole plan
It's for free.
for training. Mm-hmm. And the best thing I did was finding 2 people that would agree to do it or to train.
Now, they were 15 to 20 years younger than her, but whatever.
But then I carried a lot of guilt afterwards because I got to thinking they hadn't even done halves, but they were willing to train. So I religiously kept track of exactly what we were supposed to do each week. And we did it until the 16-miler, and that's when my friend just could not make it anymore. She said that it was.
That was for a full, not a half.
Yeah.
At 16 miles. Like that was training 16 miles for the
toward
26.
toward the marathon.
Yeah.
And then when we did the 20, we knew we were going to be able to do it because we felt great. We were out at Cherokee Landing, halfway between her house and mine, and we celebrated that day as the great turning point.
That's awesome.
And then I went home and read one of the running books again, and it says, the last 5 miles or 6 miles is the hardest part of your marathon because you think, I've made it with that 20 and I can do it. And all of a sudden that last 6.2 feels like the hardest run you've ever made.
Amen.
But I knew that I was going to turn 75, and if I was ever going to do it, it had to be now, and I'm so glad I did.
Amen. Yeah, question?
On the average, you say you're getting by 7 to 7.5 hours of sleep every day.
Uh-huh.
Is that only at night, or do you take naps during the day?
I'm not very good at taking naps
I
because
highly suggest naps. She doesn't take them because she's a go. I say that actually the most successful societies in the world actually take little bitty naps in the middle of the day, siestas, if you will, right? And so they do take naps. I personally do take naps. I'll try and take anywhere between a 15 and a 30-minute nap every single day. In fact, I'm so regimented now, if you're talking to me about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll be like, hey, because I just go out. I mean, I'm so used to taking a nap. And it's very healthy. It's good for your immune system, too. But she doesn't take naps. But you go to bed.
I did while I was at your house.
Yeah, it's because she's around grandkids wearing her out. Yes? The rolls.
Oh,
Neck.
yes, I'm sorry, but I do love the Tempur-Pedic pillow. It's just...
She's talking about the rolls that we give to patients like you guys.
I don't sleep on the rolls.
She's got a neck where some of you guys have too. If she stays on it too long, she'll get numbness. Mm-hmm. So she'll stay on as long as she can, and then she gets off of it.
In fact, the wall balls, I don't know if any of you've worked the gym where you do the wall balls. You take I usually use an 8 or a 10 pound, and you stand right at the wall and you bounce it and catch it. And the first few times I did that, my neck hurt so bad. And I used to have headaches where my would kind of start in the lower neck. Probably part of it's my adjustments, but
since she's been getting adjusted,
I kept doing the wall balls because I didn't want to be left out. I just wanted to do what everybody else is doing. So I just kept, and do you know, I guess it's built more muscle in here. So when they say wall balls, I say, okay, I don't want to worry about it. The one thing I don't do because of my age and I want to keep my knees, I don't do those box jumps. And I think, don't say anything, I think it's ridiculous to do the box jumps. Because if those kids up to this age knew what it was like when they hit 75, they'd want to save their knees.
Yeah. So box jump is where you actually have a
2.5 foot.
24 or a 30-foot box, and you flat-footed go here, and you jump onto it, and then stand
and
up.
then you jump down.
You jump down.
Yeah.
I do box steps, Mom.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. Other questions? Questions, yeah?
If you keep sweating and sweating after your 12 minutes is over,
Yeah.
just keep sweating.
Good.
Is that a good
That's a
thing?
great thing.
That means you're burning.
You didn't have to pay anybody for that detox product. That is great. Keep sweating. In fact, the more toxic you are, the more tendency you'll probably have for that. So what you'll do is you actually increase your body temperature, and it won't go down as fast. And it's natural for your body to try and make that happen. It utilizes that build-in pressure so that you actually get higher temp and you sweat longer. So it's good. Keep it up. That's really good. Yes.
Do you take that supplement before you work out?
There's different ways you can do it. For you guys, I specifically want you to take it just like it says. Just like it says on the bottle. Like I've used it different ways. It depends on if you're a high-end athlete, if you're training for something, if you're going to take more than 1 or 2 times a day. But just take it exactly like it says on the side, right? It's clear on the side. Just take it just like that. Okay. Question.
For your mom, how many partners have you gone through?
My dad's still around.
My first 52 years, no. Actually, the first partner that I had, I worked with, and she had gone from 230 pounds approximately down to 145, and she was a 5K runner. And while we were working, I got started doing all those runs with her. And then I'm really out on Black Gum Mountain, and it was really hard to find anybody. Yeah, my cousin plays the fiddle.
Yeah.
And you can hear it all over the mountain because he uses big speakers. But anyway, the crazy thing is, I really don't have a partner where I am living. I have a partner, but I don't have somebody that will walk with me or run with me every day. And that's the reason I made concessions. And I was trying to get that pulled up because I had about 8 or 10 things that happened to us and how you could get past it. And if I have to, I'll leave it with them and you can look at them
We can
later.
post it online too.
Okay, one of the things though is it's very boring sometimes, especially if you're just walking. Now if you're running, walking, you more or less need to consider posture, etc. And believe it or not, going down hills is much harder on the knees as we age. And so there are many, many things that you can use that makes it easier. But stay on the flat surfaces as much as possible until you get comfortable. The other thing too is that audible tape or audible books. I go through the park listening to that, and I'll also listen to some music that's for running and walking. The other thing is choose somebody that you think might work. And you know, if I do it again, I think I'd ask 2. Because invariably something happens to one of you. That, you know, it's just, we're just that way for, even if it's just a workout, it's nice to always have that extra person. When one can't come, the other one can. And it works better. The other thing is if you fall off the wagon and you think, oh, I kind of lost it, use David's philosophy for me when I say, God, I ate 2 Krispy Kremes. He'll say everybody has to have a vacation sometime. That's it. Just call it a vacation and go on. And so basically that 2 weeks that I was in New York, I was so habitual with my workouts that it was really hurting me mentally, thinking I have got to get back in there. And so one of the very first things I did when I got home is I went straight to that gym, and Brandon nearly killed me, but I had enough left. But as we age, we lose it faster. So that's one reason it's good to have that consistency, so that when you are ill or you're out a couple of days or something, or you're on vacation and there's not everything you need, you have to find ways. But I tell you, I text with Cheryl and Cindy because I could say, I did 6 miles in the park today. And the app that I use shows the map. So I'm literally giving them, this is what happened. And when I hit share, it goes to both of them. And they'll text back and say, yay, I only did 3, or you know.
She also sends me selfies from the finish line on Saturdays.
Well,
Which is
part
awesome.
of that is it makes me feel better, and also I like to think that no matter what age we are, we can still be role models for our kids. I think it's important.
I mean, when your mom is killing you at a CrossFit workout, it's going to push you a little bit. Like, don't think that I'm not going to hear it from my friends at CrossFit tomorrow morning when I go work out. They're going to be like, oh, your mom beat you yesterday. It's going to be good.
But the good thing, it won't just be your kids or your grandkids that you're making an impression on. It'll be your friends. All of a sudden, you'll find out that somebody will say, man, I wish I could do that. And you could say, well, I only started doing a mile. My friend Marcella weighed 230 pounds and wore these little extra wide Keds. And she tried just jogging to the mailbox. And she said it probably wasn't even a quarter of a mile, and I was not a pretty sight. Those are her words. And yet, She's done Boston Marathon. She's done, and she's like 60. She's in her 60s still. But I admire her because she stuck with it, and she was kind of my inspiration. So you may be that person's inspiration, and the benefits outweigh almost anything because you feel good. And you lose weight, and as Jim said, what about wearing smaller clothes? It's nice. Consignment shops now carry those 6s and 8s.
That's awesome. And they're cheaper. Yes.
So Mom, do you keep the apricots and your fruit things, those little containers?
Yes.
Is that at Walmart or Target?
Do you know, I have a friend, I had a larger one than this that I picked up at Target or something 4 or 5 years ago. And my friend in Albuquerque, by the way, you need to find a passion if you don't already have one. Mine's the paper folding, the origami. But she sent this. She said, I thought you might like a skinnier one that would fit in your backpack. And so what I do is...
It's called Go Stack,
Yeah,
S-T-A-K.
you can
Go
find
Stack.
it, I'm sure, online. She
Amazon.
ordered it online and had it sent to my house.
Go Stack.
And the cool thing about it, it's like a little puzzle, but it has this handle. And I can't tell you, Jim thinks it's just great. I would be the person to actually be on a desert island or lost because he said she's always got something in there.
You'd survive if you're near Earth. Good. So other questions? I know you guys need to go. It's getting a little bit late, but
know.
On
yes.
the planks, on each day, when it says like 210 seconds, is that 210 seconds consecutive?
Listen, you can do it in 15-second increments. You can do it however you want to do it.
I thought it was.
I do well to do 20.
I have some people that can do a 3-minute plank, but I only have like 2 in my whole office. Yeah, good.
It's tough.
So guys, we're running late, and I've got a team that need to go home, and you guys still need to get your product. So Joby will make sure you guys get it at the front desk before you go. Also, guests, make sure you guys get your new patient appointment cards. Listen, the biggest thing about being a new patient in the office is filling out paperwork, right? I got to fill out all this crazy paperwork. So take the paperwork home with you.
Yeah.
Got it?
She,
Good.
helped me let me do that.
Perfect. Perfect. Mwah.
You're welcome.